Hi everybody, I'm back after a long hiatus, but I said I didn't want to put out YouTube content unless it's something important, and I don't want to duplicate others, that have the same content just to put out my 2 cents, and so especially when they have uh, really good videos. So I think that's just not necessary. But, anyways, recently I just saw Steve Fletcher 222 video on the Schumann Resonance frequency data that he had passed along from another YouTube channel of a lady that was on Facebook. I don't have Facebook, but she posted it on YouTube, and I looked at that and it was super intriguing. So I wanted to dive into the data from this Schumann resonance information that looks like a Hanukkah menorah. And sure enough, I think I found a lot of very interesting things that kind of lends towards an upcoming Hanukkah Rapture. So from here, I'll go into the presentation. So here's where I seen the Schumann resonant data on these channels. First on Steve Fletcher's channel. So I would watch that first because he actually gives a good summary. And then I would go back to the original source of the Schumann data, and it's a channel called Schumann Resonant Updates with Marguerite. So she's the primary source, but he's the one that got the information secondhand, but he did an excellent brief summary of everything. So I would watch both of these. So here's the Schumann resonance data that was presented on both Marguerite's channel and Steve Fletcher's channel. And a lot of people remarked that it looked like a menorah. And I have to agree. I know how to read this data. I used to do that as an engineer quite often. I'm retired now, but but I used to do a lot of data set reading, so I don't want to get too techy. I'll do a little bit of an intro on it, but I don't want to deviate too far from that. I just want to present not what this means, but what it means prophetically, and I'll just go from there. And this data will be available if you want to look at it a little bit more closely yourself. So this information will get better as time goes on, but here's just a little bit of technical information. You don't have to understand it too much. I'll break it down as much as possible. So on the left-hand menorah, you have this feature here, the menorah with the stand around 25 hertz. So the range down here is from 0 to 100. So it's 0, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, which is like the center candle of the menorah. 30, 35, 40, 45, and then it's mirrored about the 50 hertz line, and then the center stand for the second menorah falls at 75 hertz, so 50, 55, 60, 65, 70, 75, all the way through 100. So the center line for the left menorah is at 25 hertz. The center line for the right hand menorah is at 75 hertz, and then they are mirrored about the 50 hertz line right here. So they're mirror images of each other. So I'm just only going to stick to the information on the left hand menorah. So from here I wrote down what the major features are. Of course there's more, but the major features of this left-handed menorah. And when you zoom in, you can see the major features. So there's this resonance, this other one that's highlighted in red. There's also these three. There's fainter ones. There's the middle candle or stand of the menorah. And then there's some more features that are mirrored about this 25 hertz. And so it goes all the way from 7 hertz to 43 hertz with images. So this image is mirrored about the middle stand, I'll say, right here. And then this one is mirrored about here, about the center line. And then there's a set of these right here that's below at this point and this point. So there's two sets of these. And so this major one right here is at 7 hertz. This one is at 13 hertz. This line is at 17 hertz. This little faint one is at 19. Then the center line one, the middle candle or stand of the menorah is at 25, as I said before. This faint one is mirrored right here at 31 hertz. These two are mirrored here at 33 hertz. This one is mirrored, but it's fainter than this one. This is more prominent at 37 hertz. And then this one is a broadband, but the major one starts at 7 and then it goes towards about 10. But it is reflected at 43 hertz. So that's the major features of this. And then the time started. They collect data for 24 hours. So this was at 2000 hours UTC and then 2200 hours UTC. So this event started right here a little bit after 2000 hours UTC, and it ended at this point a little bit after 2200 hours UTC. So clearly both the left and the right-handed menorah shows a 7-cup or 7-bowl menorah. The center segment is called the mem cups, these right here. And it also shows just the center stand, but not the base. It also features the Fibonacci sequence with the 1, 1, 2, 3, then the 4 going to the mem, and then the 5 for the bottom part of the mem right here. So since the right-hand menorah shows the features better, it clearly shows the cup-shaped portion of the menorah with 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cups or bowls. Then it shows the base, bottom part resting on this segment that looks like a long U shape. Then it's duplicated again below. These are known as the mem cups, which is the 13th Hebrew letter. And then shown here in pink is the center candle, which is for the right-handed menorah at 75 hertz, but for the left-handed one, it's centered about 25 hertz, but both are mirrored along the 50 hertz line. So on the 7-cup menorah, or 7 candles, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, they have what's represented as all of the Hebrew alphabet on the menorah, going from right to left, because in Hebrew they write from right to left. So on the first candle you have Aleph, Bet, Gimel, which is like our ABC, then Dalet, Hey, Vav, and then the next 3 letters. Then in the center candle you have the Kaf, Lamet, and Mem. And so these are the waters above and below, which are called the Mem cups that you see. So a lot of times this menorah is seated on the upper Mem, and then the lower one is a little bit below. But these are the Mem cups. And then you continue with the Hebrew alphabet with Nun, so on and so forth, all the way to the 7th candle, which are the last 3 letters of the Hebrew alphabet, which are Resh, Shem, and Tav. And these are clearly seen in the depiction of the Schumann Resonance. This is the right-hand menorah of the cup seated on the upper Mem and the lower Mem. So these are the Mem cups. And then in pink is the stand portion of which the menorah cups rest on. And the Hebrew letter Mem, which is the 13th Hebrew letter of which the 7 menorah candle cup rest on, this letter represents water and is an ancient pictograph representing waves of water. But in modern Hebrew, there are 2 forms of Mem. The regular Mem, which represents the waters, and then the final Mem, which is the lower Mem cup, a closed box, and it's associated with a closed womb or the coming of the Messiah. So now I'm going to get into the data portion of it, but like I said, I'm primarily going to focus on the left-hand menorah that's centered about 25 hertz. So I zoomed in even further. So when you look at the highlighted features, like I said, here, and then here's its reflection. So you have 7 hertz plus 43 hertz, which is highlighted in black, equals 50 hertz. And then again at 13 and 37, which are these features. This is a stronger signature than the mirror image, but you still can see it here and here. This is 13 and 37. That's also equal to 50 hertz highlighted in blue. And then going back up, there's these 2 features that are mirrored about the 25 hertz line. And this is 19 hertz and 31 hertz, also equal to 50 hertz. And then down here, highlighted in purple, which is at 17 hertz and 33 hertz, that's also equal to 50 hertz, and that's highlighted in purple. But there's 2 sets of them. So there's the 17 and the 33, the lower set here, and then the upper set here. And there's a couple of more above this, but more prominent at 17 hertz. I'm sure that means some information as well, but these are the 2 stronger signatures that are duplicated, one at an earlier time after 2000 hours, and then one repeated again later than, so the time increases downward. So the time goes this way, downward. So it starts from up here. So it's after 2000 hours that it started, goes down, and there's 2200 hours, and it ends at this bottom part a little bit after 2200 hours. So here's the right hand menorah, and I put down some data points for this as well for you to see for your own benefit. I'm not going to analyze this side, but this has much clearer features, and there is typically there's resonant frequencies above 50 hertz, and they collected it through about 100 hertz, but usually you don't see any. It's usually washed out. You don't usually see very much information. It's usually very faint, but here you see clearly the mirrored image of the left hand menorah about the 50 hertz line. I'm not going to analyze it, but here's the 75 hertz center line of this menorah on the right hand side, so the center candle stand. And then if you add these two, 57 hertz plus 93 hertz, you get 150 hertz. Likewise with 63, 87, 67, and 83, they all sum to 150. So now looking at the times of these features, when they started and when they ended. So this was taken on November 22nd, 2025. So it's a 24-hour thing. Here's the 2000 hours UTC. I added in the 2100 halfway, and then the 22 hours UTC. So you can see that the beginning of the menorah, and this is rotated 90 degrees, started a little bit after 2000 hours, and then it ended with the end of the lampstand post, the center post of the menorah. So what would go into the base ended a little bit after 2200 hours. So the whole event took a little bit over 2 hours. So again, this is the center line, and then rotated 90 degrees. This is the cup. Here's the upper mem, this and this. There's the lower mem that's repeated, and then the whole stem goes from the base of the bowls, the 7 candle bowls, from here, and it's a stronger signal from here to here. There's other features in the frequency. So you have like this one, so it falls about midway between 2006 and 2024. So starts about 2018 and goes for a few minutes. So I didn't analyze every little nuance, but more the major ones. I would say that's a major one, but I didn't want to get into the weeds that far. You can do that, but I wanted to consider what I thought were more the major features, but I would probably include this as well. So what does all of this mean? I think I noted that like the 2111 time frame seems to be alluding to John 21 verse 20, which is the 153 fish catch. And then maybe the 2024 has to do with the year 2024 and 2034. I don't know what the 2006 is. If you remove the zeros, you have the 2 and the 6, which is 26, which is for Yahweh. And then this broader band one, which is the end of the stand portion, is covering from the time 2212 to 2213. And I think that probably refers to Revelation 22 verses 12 to 13. So the UTC timestamp info for the left-handed menorah has a start time of 2006 UTC. So again, if you take out the zeros, it's 26, which is Yahweh. And the finish time, it's a little broadband between 2112 to 2113 UTC, seems to be referring to, in my opinion, to Revelation chapter 21 verses 12 to 13. Other noteworthy times were the 2024 and the 2111. So I think the 2024, especially with the 50 frequency differences shown in the beginning with the like colored highlight frequencies along the center line of 25 hertz or 50 hertz. I believe that was the Jubilee being between 2024 and 2025, the fall. And then 2111 UTC seems to be referring to John 21 verse 11, which is the 153 catch. Other times where the 2034 might be the end of the time in 2034. I don't know. I don't know what the 2042 or the 2100 indicate. And then the other band, the time that I didn't show was between 2018 and 2021. I don't know what that represents either. So maybe you can put down in the comments what you think it is. But with this being a menorah and with these times, the 153 catch and Revelation 21 verses 12 to 13, and the seems to indicate the last Jubilee before the rapture, and I think that means that the rapture is coming up at Hanukkah. So, but that's my opinion. So I'll conclude here, but that's what I seem to glean from this Schumann Resonance frequency data. More in particular, the left hand menorah, and there's probably information on the right hand one, which I didn't analyze, but I did include most of the frequencies, the major ones, so you can take a look at it. You might see something that I don't see, and I didn't include it here. So, but anyways, I'm thinking that in conclusion that this was a major sign in the heavens that the rapture may occur this coming Hanukkah, especially with the menorah and this other information as well. So in my humble opinion, I think that this upcoming Hanukkah, that this was a strong rapture sign for Hanukkah 2025. I don't think the Lord would show this a year early or 5 years early. I think it's going to be Hanukkah that's coming very soon in the next few days or few weeks, depending on which calendar. But I would put this on a super high watch for Hanukkah. So I'm going to be watching all the way from the dates. A lot of people have said from the very end of November to the winter solstice. I'll even go all the way to the end of the calendar year 2025. But I do think, in my opinion, that this was a strong indicator that it will be the rapture this 2025 between now, which is the date of this recording, on 24 November, to the end of the calendar year, but I think it's going to be before that, that there will be a 2025 Hanukkah Rapture. And this is strictly based on all of the information presented on the left-handed side, or the left menorah shaped Schumann Resonance frequency data that I presented. I know it was a little bit techy and a little slow and boring, but I wanted to at least give those who are interested in looking at data where I got this information from based on the frequencies and the timestamps. So, and what I think they represent. Anyways, I hope this has been a blessing to you, and I would be on very high watch between now and the winter solstice in particular, and we shall soon see in the coming days and weeks. So anyways, I hope again this was a blessing to you, and so if you haven't come to the Lord, now is the time to come to the Lord to get saved. And there's no more, in my opinion, time left. So tomorrow isn't even promised, but I think the rapture is coming very soon based on the Schumann Resonance menorah shaped data. So anyways, I hope you have a blessed day and take care.